All right, this is it. News, by the way, people, news. How on earth do we still get news? We just got news. There was just an update. And now we have even more. The latest news coming from Motion Twin Evil Empire team. This is today, Monday, July 18th. You all are getting it fresh off the presses. Hi, everyone. We're taking a breather from constant alpha beta update announcements to kill off the belief that the latest DLC for Queen of the Sea, we are at or near the end of Dead Cell's lifetime. So you could be on Reddit, you could be on Twitter, you could be on YouTube, you could be a YouTube commenter posting on Motion Twin's official account that Queen in the Sea is the last thing happening in Dead Cells. If you weren't around when they did the Q&A, they have said multiple times that Queen of the Sea is not the end. That's just like a 3-part trilogy that like the cutoff, the climax, is when you kick the queen into the fire on top of the tower, on top of the lighthouse. But there's gonna be more. As a matter of fact, we're in an update right now where there's more stuff. Is there more DLC? We don't know, but I assume that we will get more. We can see how people end up thinking this, but reports of our death have been greatly exaggerated. To clarify, we're giving you a little roadmap for the rest of the year. We're reasonably confident on the release times and content, but there's no guarantees in game development, so please don't take this as gospel. And this is like pretty important. Not gonna lie, like we get kind of in our own bubbles and start to yell at devs for not releasing stuff at certain times with global pandemics and all kinds of stuff going on. So you see the dates, well, the schedule here. Don't assume that this is going to be exactly when things come out. And don't forget that things like winter is more like December to February, perhaps even March, depending on what the dev is. But looking at the roadmap, we have summer 2022, which is right now July, alpha, so it might not even be released until August. Panchaku and more, item balancing, legendary rework, and mainly Panchaku. Fall 2022 boss rush. Now that's September, October, November. If I was a betting man, if summer 22 is August, I would say fall 22 is probably November. Fight the bosses one after one and prove your worth. That we don't have in Dead Cells, except for a fake version in the training room. As a matter of fact, people have been speed running all bosses training room speed runs, where you get the most efficient gear at the very start, and then you try to fake your way through the spoiler boss, and then you use your busted gear to just blow through all the other bosses. As much as I really enjoyed the training room speedrun, it's actually really fun. If you haven't tried it yourself, it's like a good 10 to 15 minutes, depending on like how you do it, but at worst it's probably 15 minutes. And it's a lot of fun. But to have an official boss rush, signed, sealed, approved by Motion Twin, that could be really fun. If you think about it, what's the equivalent? Maybe Pantheon and Hollow Knight. And I don't really have a ton of hours in Hollow Knight. I have like 70 and I forget 90% of what happens to that game. Pantheon is a mode where you can kind of just play through bosses, like boss after boss after boss. And I think some of them are enhanced too. And we've always wondered, like between Concierge and the Giant, is there any way for us to have an enhanced boss without making Dead Cells like harder for new folks? Maybe Boss Rush is like where you can do that. Maybe you can have like Alpha Concierge or Prime Timekeeper or stuff like that. I don't know. But honestly, that I would really hope for every cool idea that they have to throw out to be put into Boss Rush. Winter 2022, if I was a Batman, I would say February. I know it says 2022, but like that just means it's not next December to say it's 2023. New stuff to play with is all they say. We don't know if this is supposed to be something. Most Decembers, I want to say this past December, and then December prior to that, we had holiday updates, like Christmas updates. And they gave us some of our most requested stuff. I want to say Katana was one of them. And then maybe the Malaise rework was another one. Those actually may have been both the same update for all I know. The fact that there's gifts here made me think that maybe just maybe, they're trying to strike off some of our wish list items. And I don't know about you all when it comes to wish list stuff. Maybe things like more weapons we can hold the button on. Maybe things like a buff giant. Maybe story revolving around Timekeeper. I don't know. I'm sure there's tons of stuff that people are asking for on the Reddit that we don't have yet. We're already getting Panchaku, so I don't know if there's another weapon out there that fits in like a Christmas gift scenario. But I don't know. I really hope that there's something there. But then 2023, they said the most exciting year in Dead Cells history. What does that even mean? We just went through 3 DLCs, legendary changes, new boss rush incoming, tons and tons of balancing and reworking. Besides, I don't know what else there is. I really don't. Like, besides giving us a Dead Cells 2, unless they have like new ulti paths or something, I don't know what there could possibly be. So what have people been asking for? People have been asking for multiplayer. People have been asking for alternate routes. Think like Binding of Isaac, where you can have like the regular, I guess, attic route, I guess you would call it. I'm not really an Isaac player. The basement route, the sewer route. Maybe they could give, so you have your basic Dead Cells route, which can go castle route, which is like ramparts into clock tower and that kind of stuff. You have the swamp route, which is arboretum, morass, into like graveyard. You have the sewer route, which is toxic sewers, ancient sewers, concierge. Maybe they can figure out like a 4th route, even though I feel like that would be DLC. I don't know, it's so tough. I don't know what it could be besides multiplayer or Dead Cells 2. And I'm throwing it all out there. I'm ready. I got the $5 or whatever they might ask for the DLC. Just give me whatever. I'll take whatever. Give me 5 of them, as a matter of fact. If you follow our Steam posts, you know all about our next update, which is currently in alpha. If you're not up to speed, you can read the alpha here, which we've done plenty of videos about the alpha. Just click those and you'll see what's going on. Quick TLDR, we'll be adding the long-awaited Panchaku, new flame, that's the Bobby, pet the pet, Soul Knight, all kinds of stuff like that. A little bit of gif of the action. Even though I want to say our Bobby Tarantino looks a little different than that, just to say that. Following the update, we'll be adding boss rush area. The idea here is to let you fight all the bosses you've met so far, one after the other, with unlockables to win as you progress. There should be a few different modes in boss rush to expand the challenge beyond the central idea, and we'll potentially be adding a scoreboard for competition. So let's break that down a little bit. Different modes in boss rush to expand the challenge. So what I would honestly like to see in a boss rush is a couple things. One, a daily challenge boss rush that has one set of gear. Or if it has to like change gear per bosses. Let's say, for example, there's a set of tubes, just like how we have normally. You go in, you have your choice of 4 tubes, then you fight Concierge, Mama Tick, Conjunctivius. Then that's done, then they give you more tubes, and then you do the same thing. If they have a daily challenge version of that, where everyone has the same tubes, and then you just go for it, or maybe it's just one single tube that you can't change at all, I think that will also be really fun. Another mode, in my opinion, would be randomizer, where you get your choice of gear. I don't know how much choice I want. I kind of want it random, but I don't really want to fish out Sonic Carbine barb tips, for example. I don't want to just go up to a tube, spam the button over and over, give me Sonic Carbine, give me repeater crossbow, and then give me freaking barb tips, and then I do the bosses. Like, I don't really want that. I'd rather go into boss rush, have the random tube, and that's it. Like, you have to do those or else you're all F4ing, I guess. I don't know. But a random set of bosses, if I were to choose my gear, let's say I choose Wolf Trap, Root Grenade, Nutcracker, and the first boss I have to fight is Hand of the King or the Giant. The Giant's probably the best example here. I chose a root specific build, and then the first boss is a boss that's completely immune to root. That's honestly a lot of fun to me. But honestly, the most important thing to me are prime versions of bosses. Even if they want to just do, it has more health, it has more damage, that's fine, I guess, but I would love to see a giant where after you destroy the hands, the eye comes out, but the hands keep swinging at you. Or I'd love to see Timekeeper, where the whole fight has swords that drop. She does almost no walking. All she does is throw shurikens and then dash back and forth. Where she lands, she just throws shurikens from there and then just starts dashing again. I love to see Conjunctivious, where the platforms actually drop while you're on them. Just like a regular Ancient Sewers map. Those platforms just don't stay there. If you stay on for long enough, they fall. I don't know what else you can do for Concierge to make it any harder. Maybe give me 3 Concierges. Maybe that's the answer. You think about Elden Ring. Elden Ring has apostates, and like the ultimate challenge is duo apostate, where you're fighting both Orochimaru and Choji at the same time. I want that in Dead Cells, where I fight one tall, slender concierge and one big, thickum concierge at the same time. Before Christmas, there'll be yet another update dropping, but this one is still under wraps. You'll have to wait a little bit to know. Interesting. I have no idea what else we need. After the legendary update, unless they give me freaking Sonic Battle multiplayer, I don't know what else there is. I think it's in 2023, we won't be slowing down. In fact, we'll be stepping things up. It's going to be by far our biggest year since 1.0 launch. And we're thrilled to show you what we've been cooking up behind the scenes. Rise the Giant really is probably the pinnacle update of Dead Cells. But then again, Rise of the Giant kind of like is 1.0 in my opinion, because it added 5 BC, it added the Giant, it added Spoiler Boss. It set the actual bar for what a Dead Cells update, what a Dead Cells run looks like in general. So what do you even do after that besides Dead Cells 2? It's literally like we made the premiere version of the game at 1.0 with Rise of the Giant soon after. That's 1.2. Now we have something almost better than that. I don't know. I can't call it. What we're getting at here is that we are very much in the midlife of Dead Cells. What? Hasn't it been 5 years? I'm pretty sure their last, what was it? The accessibility update, I think, said it was 5 years. We're not sneaking out at night to get drunk on the streets anymore, but we're still got plenty of life in us before our knees start to give in. So prepare yourselves for more Dead Cells content. That is the story of our lives, right? I make jokes about this with Retromation all the time. They ask me, V, what do you do? Where do you do it? And I say, they updated my game. So I'm playing Dead Cells again. But it's wild. Like, I don't know how midlife is even a word they can type. Like, these devs, and again, like, the ideas. Think about the shark weapon. The shark weapon that has the actual, like, Sharknado as an Easter egg. I didn't know I wanted a shark in this game. But they have so many ideas, apparently, and they're just sitting on them. The devs always find a way. That's basically what it boils down to. They always find a way to give you content. Whether it's paid, whether it's free, I'm there.